Chuck Crosby, Crosby Law Office. Danny, buying a home this past December, but the home inspection came back with a variety of items that needed to be addressed. The seller refused to do just about all the requests. And so Danny walked away. And in this email, he's asking, should the sellers be required to disclose what the inspector found and or make repairs? Chuck, and we'll go to Brad on this for your take on this as well, but let's start legally.
There's a couple of ways of looking at that. I mean, there are some home inspectors who do tend to be particular and maybe aggressively so, and will say A, B, and C needs to be done when in fact there's argument as to whether A, B, and C should be done. Now, that does put the buyer and their realtor in a weird spot. If a deal was killed over a particular set of issues, it's not something that's not going to come out. Okay. And if
that's a double negative. So in other words,
I know.
It will come out.
It could.
Okay.
And if something happens in the future and you want to cause trouble for the seller, you can go back and find this stuff out. And then if it's not disclosed, that gives you more of a toehold. Now, was it just BS? Yeah, maybe. You get to argue that. But what if, at that point, my thought is if you're in court arguing something, you probably already lost. You've already spent all the money.
A lot of money.
Yeah. And so do you have to? I don't think you have to. Should you? Probably a good idea. And then put explanations with it and say, this was brought up, but we don't think it's right because.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I get that. I think you have to refute it, but can you refute it just based on your own opinion, or do you have to have, say, a specialty?
Well, you don't have to have anything.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is, it's just a matter of how believable are you. If I'm the head of the Home Builders Association and I'm saying that's not accurate, well, my word might carry more weight than just me. But should you have somebody else? It's not a bad idea.
Okay.
It's not a bad idea at all.
Brad, any comments on this?
Well, I've got a few. One is that, the home inspectors are typically working for the buyer, so that we don't know what the buyers or the buyer's agent even tells the seller asked for as repair requests. So
you never see a copy of the contract?
Yeah, no, Chuck, I don't, and I don't see a copy of seller's disclosures
There
either.
you
So the other side is when we do a pre-listing inspection. So let's say Bob's got a home that's going to be listed. Maybe it's an estate sale, maybe it's just somebody wants to take particular care and attention to make sure that the home moves quickly through the sales process. When we do a pre-listing inspection, the argument with some agents in town is, well, I'd never do that because anything that home team finds, I now have to disclose. And my argument has always been, well, that's okay, because now whatever we find, you can address on your own terms with your own contractors. And time is not as critical if we're doing the pre-listing inspection. So I do think that there's a place for the pre-listing inspection to get those done. And then you control the equity in the home because you're making the repairs. And then you can say, yeah, the home, we found these defects. This is the contractor who did the work. Here's the receipts for the repairs that were made. I think it just makes it for an easier process than me coming in for the buyer, finding things wrong, and then you've got just a couple of days to try to negotiate everything. And in this case, like you said, he walked away from it.
Yeah.
So so that's where I land on the disclosure. Control it by using your own contractors to make those repairs, or refute and here's why the repairs aren't needed.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody came in and said, hey, all these things are wrong, is it that you guys can come in and say, no, they're perfectly fine? Is that something you guys do?
We have. I mean, we've done that a few times. I don't typically go back behind other inspectors, but yes, we've been called in to do evaluations because of our experience, because we've done almost 25,000 inspections. People do hire us to come in kind of as a second opinion. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Just a note, I did order that weather stick. I'll let you know how that goes.
Oh, somebody's addicted to Amazon.
Oh, yeah, boy. I did. It just makes it simple.
Oh, boy.
A reminder, you can get our free monthly video updates. Go to WeSellLouisville.tv. That's WeSellLouisville.tv.